Doing. I am Killer Gunny 132. To my right is Toast 78901.
He won't even let me introduce myself, fucking bigot.
Okay. Yeah, we've been working on this little project here, the FC podcast that has been done multiple times, but really never got any lasting effect to it. You know, people have done it, but they've only done a couple episodes and then suddenly stopped. We feel that we can really do this long term.
We live 5 minutes from each other. We're best friends. I think it'll work. If it doesn't, I'll just have to hound his ass. If I need to record him solo, I guess I will.
Yeah. For people who don't know who I am, I'm Killer Gunny 132. I've been a part of Forerunner Conflict for about 6 years now. I joined back in 2006. I've been a field marshal. I've been every rank in the book. Most of my time was spent in red, but I am currently in blue. I am the commanding officer of Legacy Squad, and I'm also the XO of Phalanx Company.
And any of you guys who have been here for a while probably don't know me, especially if you're in red. I am Toast 78901. I joined recently, back in December actually, but didn't even really get active till January. Since then, climbed the ranks pretty quickly. I am now a second lieutenant and the commanding officer of the Lost Remnants.
Yeah, and really how this came about is I was sitting here and I was thinking, you know, it's been a while since someone's tried a podcast. I believe the last person to try a podcast was Carpe Vixilium. And he actually did a good number of episodes, but I mean, he just stopped.
Keynote here, to be honest, I hate it when you say this. It's Latin. It's Vexilium.
Vexilium?
Vexilium.
But there's a V there.
Yeah, V's are pronounced as W's. And sorry, that goes out to everybody here. I was a Latin student. It pisses me off when people mispronounce things. Anyway, back to you.
But yeah, he was the last guy to do a podcast. And fun fact, actually, I was actually one of the people that went and volunteered to do the podcast, but he beat me out. I don't remember how that process went, but anyway. He did do a couple episodes, and he was pretty good, but then he stopped, and we didn't have a podcast. And I know we had the failed experiment that was FC Radio. I know you were kind of a part of that, or wanted to be.
I wanted to be. I essentially looked at it, and I was like, you know what? I want to do that. Radio is something that I've always kind of looked towards. You know me, I like to talk. But what I kind of felt was FC Radio was more like Pandora than anything.
Exactly.
And I kind of wanted something that was more talk-oriented. And so I thought about a podcast, but I didn't want to do it solo. And I know you are thinking about going into sports broadcasting. Yeah. So, I mean, this is just great practice.
Yeah, I know Raz does a radio show on there, you know, Vader's Voice or something like that. Have you ever listened to his show?
I haven't been able to listen to his show yet because the times at which he's on are when I'm in class.
Yeah, I know. It's like Fridays at like 9:30 or something. I know. It's in the morning.
It's in the morning, and I'm usually busy with something.
And plus, it's Eastern time, so it's a little earlier for us Pacific timers.
Definitely. I definitely apologize, Raz. I will get to it, though, and I love you, and I hope you listen to this.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so also speaking about Raz, this is going to be something that we plan on doing for our podcast. We hope to have interviews. Yes. We want to really reach out and actually get everybody to kind of know each other in FC, especially people that tend to be major players. So Raz, since I've already brought you up, you're first. We are hoping to interview you first, and so if you hear this, please send a very quick response my way, letting me know when we can set up with you on Skype.
Raz is always kind of like the first choice for interviews. I know I did a kind of a Machinima update thing back in 2008. It was like the FC update. And he was one of my guests. And, you know, that was great. Just, you know, it was hard work for me to do. It was very, very hard work to do. And I stopped after 2 episodes.
And speaking of updates, this, we hope at least, will be a weekly thing. I take that back. I know it'll be a weekly thing because I'll hound Gunny's ass here. But essentially what we're going to do is hopefully meet every Sunday after a battle night and try to have this up for you guys Monday, if not Monday, early Tuesday. Yeah. That way it's really current. And what I mean by current is one of the main things we hope to do, especially at the beginning of every show, is do Battle Night or Battle Night review, not coverage, rather.
Coverage.
And essentially we're going to talk about who won which map, general strategies that it looks like the armies are going. To those of you in blue, we're not giving away secrets. We're just saying what it tends to be the trend of.
We are in blue, but we're going to try and be as objective as we can.
Yeah. Very objective is what we're hoping for. So that actually brings me to another point. Something that I really want to do is set up a listener mail thing.
Yeah.
And for those of you, we made this very simple. Our email is forerunnerconflictpodcast, no spaces, @yahoo.com. And I'm going to include that email both in the forum post and in the podcast information on iTunes. Yeah. And essentially what I'm going to do is I want all of you guys to send things in, questions, concerns, comments, funny stories, requests, both for music for our breaks, movie clips for our breaks, anything you could really think of. And one of the main things is if you ever feel that we are getting skewed or biased in any way, let us know.
Yeah, exactly.
Very much like Myth is in his Forge department in terms of letting them know when it seems like one side has an advantage. We definitely want that here as well. Yeah. And to anybody in blue who feels that we may say something that is a little too far, we will definitely go back, edit anything out, and fix that for future reference. I don't want to be the the guys that seem like we're spilling everything.
Oh yeah, no, we don't want to give any secret plans. We'll call it as we see it.
Plans.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, plans. But yeah, we also, on top of Battle.net coverage, want to do FC news coverage, and that's just general.
Yeah.
I mean, something's going on in the FC sphere. Somebody's hosting a really cool game night. Once the 3v3 tournament gets going, we'll probably also do a quick little update on that. Just a little thing to keep everybody up to date. So yeah, we plan on pretty much covering everything.
Also, if anybody wants to run a game night and they want some more publicity for it, you can comment to us and send them a message, and we can kind of advertise you on the podcast.
Definitely, this goes out to everybody in any department ever. Use us as marketing whores. I'm gonna flat out say it. If you want something sponsored on here, let us know. I'll make it happen. This goes out to people who are trying to find recruiters, trying to find DIs, the Forge department needing people to test anything. And game nights especially, because what's a game night, especially one where people offer prizes like I've seen since I've joined, without, a good turnout. And I think this will definitely help.
Definitely, and we might even do something like that. That's speaking a little early, but
we'll
we'll get to that. We'll get to
might.
that.
Who knows? Depends on how big it is and how good it is.
We'll definitely see how this grows and then, adjust from there.
And that actually brings me to another point. Especially this week, what I want listener mail is I want a response from all of you guys. What you guys liked, what you didn't like, what you want us to change, what you want more of, that kind of stuff. Because I want to make this as FC friendly as possible to where most people can be interested in and enjoy it.
But to be fair, just so you guys know, we aren't running with high grade equipment here. We're recording with this little $3 mic. We are recording off of Audacity, and we
Audacity. I know it's incorrect, but I cannot say anything but Audacity.
And we are using a free hosting place, and we are going on iTunes. That's as official as we can get, though.
And that's actually something that I'll point out right now. Despite our low quality, hopefully my editing skills will be able to help a tiny bit. At least be understanding, though. Yeah. But bringing up iTunes brings me to another good point. We are running off of a free site right now that only offers us so much memory. Hopefully it'll be enough. If not, we'll talk about that later. Me and Gunny, at least. But yeah, this is going to become officiated on iTunes. And what that means is you're going to be able to go through the iTunes podcast directory. You're going to be able to upload it to your actual iTunes, and it'll update every single week. And so all you got to do is check iTunes. You don't have to go through a special site, put in a link each time. Hell, you don't even have to monitor the forums. As long as you're subscribed, you should get it. Info, details, all of it officiated.
What do you have it under on iTunes so they can search for it? I believe it's Forerunner Conflict.
Yeah, if they search Forerunner Conflict, it should come up under the tab. Also, what I'm going to do is to make this even easier is I'm going to include the iTunes link to our show in the post. I believe what it is right now is it is the official Forerunner Conflict podcast, although it could be the official FC podcast. No, I believe we changed it to Forerunner Conflict because when we searched FC, we got a bunch of ESPN stuff.
Yeah, the soccer stuff.
So I'm pretty sure that it's Forerunner Conflict.
Yeah. But also, we have a graphic that is being worked on by a couple people, or really one person. We extended it to a couple people, and one person responded.
Yeah, and so when we get that up, we will have more than just the FC logo. We're going to have our own little thing going on. And this is actually where I will direct everybody to another offer, and this goes out to the whole community. If any of you guys are graphics editors or sound editors or anything like that, and you have an idea for a graphic or for an intro or for a break or for a closer, definitely make it. You don't even need my permission. Just go ahead and make it, send it my way, and not only will I most likely use it because it'll probably be better than what I can pull together, you'll most likely also be given the opportunity to be interviewed. And for those of you out there, like I know, for example, Lavos, there's a little shout out to you here. We were talking recently, and you were talking about how you're planning on going into graphic design and a bunch of other stuff. And I mean, I think definitely getting your name out there and getting known and being able to practice your skills, and this, again, is to any editor, is definitely worthwhile. And I think this would definitely be a good opportunity for you to be, for any of you out there, to be able to try your hand at some skills and actually get it published.
Definitely. Feel free to just message us something like your work, and we'll look at it. And if we like it enough, we'll put it up on the official album art on iTunes.
You will get more than that from me. You'll get a full shout out that makes everyone in FC know your damn name.
Like, that would look really cool to go on iTunes and see a podcast and see your album artwork on iTunes, like all official. Like, it's like, whoa,
Definitely. So yeah, the RSS feed and everything is set up. That was hell. Yes. No one has clear-cut directions, and for somebody like me, I was just kind of bumbling around for a while. But I think we have everything officiated. And so, I think at this point, we've done enough dry stuff. We've got almost 10 and a half minutes here of us just kind of talking about official stuff.
Yeah, one point, though, on our RSS feed. You said you had a hard time finding information about it. It is kind of weird, you know, they kind of assume you know what this is.
Yeah, the directions a lot of times were like, well, you do this. And it's like, well, how do I do this? And it's like, how do you not know? Didn't you major in computer programming?
Yeah, it's very technical. It's like, you should know how to do this. Oh, I don't know how to do this. Oh, too bad then. Too bad.
So, you know, anybody out there, average Joe six-pack, you know, good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, that goes to any of you guys. If you ever need help, I'm actually well-versed in it now, and I can help you.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think we've got enough of the dry stuff out of the way now, so we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk some actual Halo for all of you out there.
Something that's not as dry and more
I'm
entertaining
sure
to listen
to.
Bored
just talking
we
about
just had to put this in here to explain to you how this came about.
So there was our introduction, our dry stuff, and we will be right back.
Oh, we totally had
Gunny and Toast here. Me being Toast, of course. Don't know why I said your name first. For any of you guys who notice what we did there, what we plan on doing is almost in every podcast having a couple breaks in between, you know, general topics, essentially, where we're going to put in movie clips, general sound bites, something from a TV show, a song, anything that we kind of like or find interesting or that we think fits the mood. This week, the song, for those of you who don't know, was Barbra Streisand by a group known as Duck Sauce, and the video there was a College Humor parody of the Dark Knight series known as Bad Man, which I suggest all of you see that playlist. I plan on both in the FC post and in the information description on iTunes, including links to everything we use in here, just so you guys can check it out and, you know, kind of pay homage to the original people who did it.
Yeah. So, I was on the forums the other day, and Platinum had a very interesting post. He posted this chart done by a group called Gaming Suggestions, I believe it was. And it was a review on the game of Halo 4. They basically took a poll of the players of Halo 4 and got their opinion on a bunch of things. First of all, the overall gamer rating that it got was a 7 out of 10, which I think is about right. That's not the worst Halo game, but once again, it's not the best.
Cough, cough, ODST, worst, blah.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. There's a game called Halo Reach that was just terrible. But...
Yeah, but ODST was even horrible. You want to know why? And this is totally just attacking the game in and of itself. Single player was bad, co-op was bad, and multiplayer was bad.
You're talking about ODST?
Yeah, you want to know why multiplayer was bad? Because they didn't have their own system. But for those of you who are going to defend it, I digress. In terms of the single and co-op being bad, gameplay was kind of cool. They had a couple cool quirks, but what I like to point out is the storyline devolved into a cheesy romance novel.
Yes.
Cheesy fucking romance novel. At least with Halo 4 and with Halo Reach, it was still a good canonical piece of work that felt like Halo. That felt like a bad soap opera put to Space Marines.
Well, yeah, I think the cool thing about ODST is you were an ODST. People had wanted to play as a Marine or an ODST before. It's just, I think they could have done more with the story. This devolved into this weird back and forth between Buck and Dare, and it was cheesy, and I hated it. But I did love the idea that you were in the city after the Mombasa Slipspace event. It was very cool to be in the city, but then they just ruined it with this back and forth cheesy love shit between Buck and Dare. No, I was like, I don't want any of this.
And it was definitely, I like the idea of being a Marine, don't get me wrong. I thought it was a very nice change. My point, though, is that I think they did Marines wrong. And although it was cool to see Mombasa and kind of have that whole bit, like, especially for people who haven't read the books, to kind of get that little insight. Although that was cool, they didn't do it right. It became a game that had very little character development, and one that essentially was like, we're going to go cheesy romance. And now I know there are probably a few people in the community, maybe only one or two, who are going to go, oh no, we must defend ODST, but that's where our suggestion email's for. Send me a message. I'd be love to debate the topic again. I'm the kind of person who wants to argue everything ever, so please, fire everything you got at me.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
You know, I was really pumped for ODST, and I really liked the beginning of it. And then once again, it started to turn into this love story between Buck and Dare, and that's not how you do it. You want to know how to do a love story? Look at Chief and Cortana in Halo. That's a great love story. You can argue if it's love, but come on, that's really a connection between two characters.
And I quote,
is great.
And I quote, sigh, I've been waiting so long to do that.
Yeah,
I'd say it's love. Sorry, I will. Oh, and by the way, any of you out there who are going to argue that AI and love shouldn't mix, I'm going to let all of you guys know right now that if we ever do develop full-on AI, I will be the #1 supporter of AI rights. Because if you ever want to talk to me about this personally, by the way, I love debating what exactly human consciousness is. Philosophy major here. Go ahead and laugh at a liberal arts major. But I definitely would like to discuss that with people, and what I will point out is if it's sentient, if it has the ability to understand and communicate like a human, even if it is slightly limited by the fact that it isn't completely flesh and blood human, it is fucking considered humanity.
PSA brought to you by Brandon Hickey.
PSA, definitely, hands down. Now what I'd like to do is stop beating the dead horse that is ODST that was dead on arrival before it was even released. Let's get back to Halo 4.
Yeah, so when I back to this chart that they have here done by Gamer Suggestions, they went down and also got their opinion on the game modes in Halo 4. For single player, they gave it a 78 out of 100, which I would maybe increase that a little more. I thought Halo 4 had a very good campaign. I enjoyed it.
I definitely did. I felt that the ending with the Didact was a little weak, but I think that was more of I was expecting something more spectacular, but that's actually something they brought up. Many gamers wanted a bit more of an epic battle type thing.
That opening cutscene with Halsey being interrogated, that sucked me in from the beginning.
That was beautiful.
That was great.
Including Halsey in general automatically sucked me in. I love Halsey to death. And the other thing that I'd point out with single player is they really, really got into the meat and bones of development, which is something that I always want in a game.
I know, really. I mean, I was really worried with 343 coming in because Bungie did so much for that series. It's great. I love Bungie. They're my favorite development company. And 343 came in and did a very good job with single player. I love the story. They kept the core gameplay of Halo, which is important because Halo has specific gameplay. It's fun, it's quick, and they kept that and ran with it.
And not only that, back to the development. Again, take this with a grain of salt considering that you all know my major now. I feel that real character development and real great story comes when you start to ask the big fucking questions. I mean, asking whether or not you consider Chief to be a machine. Pointing out in the very beginning that Spartans aren't just military hardware. Having Cortana literally completely go head over heels and defend Chief to the, metaphoric death in this case. Damn. That's a storyline.
Yeah.
Could it have been better? Yes. Could it have been a little longer? Yeah. More epic? Definitely. But overall.
I think it was good. The story was really good. You got real personal on Chief, which I loved because they did that in the books, and Bungie kind of neglected to do that. They did a little bit in Halo 3, but in Halo 4, 343 nailed the personal side. You really got to get to know the Chief. And you really got to get the relationship between him and Cortana, and it was great, especially at the end of the game. Spoiler alert, but you should have finished the game anyway.
Anybody who's a part of FC and didn't finish the campaign, I want to slap you upside the head with a boot.
When Cortana leaves his presence, it's great to see how he reacts. He just turns into this cold, loveless person. It's like, what do I do now?
Without going, pity me.
Yeah, exactly.
Flip my black hair back and forth.
It's like, what do I do now? My savior, my, person that directs me where to go. She's gone. I don't know what to do now.
It was my job to look out for you. We were supposed to look out for each other, Chief. Boom! Motherfucker!
Yeah.
And actually, Gunny, what I'll bring us to next that I actually find really interesting is Spartan Ops Season 1 was rated a 64 out of 100. And what's interesting is, when I first saw that, what I thought is that they were going to say that they had maps ad nauseum. Completely ad nauseum. You many times felt like you were pretty much doing the same thing on the same fucking map. However, they started to fix that a bit, but I digress. Their main reason was that although they were impressed, they just felt that it didn't have as good of a strong air as it should have. And to be honest, right here, and this really surprises me, 44% of the Halo community that they polled said they would not play Season 2. Only 19% said yes, and only 27% said that it would depend on the pricing of the new season, which, to be honest, if I have to buy the next season, that'll definitely temper things for me a bit. Unless I really see promise of a bit of change. But what I definitely found is that is very different considering what I've heard from the FC community. And so here's another thing. Let me know in the email how you guys felt about Spartan Ops. I felt it was great, personally. I loved what they did.
I thought it was okay. It definitely resonated more with you than it did me. I liked it. I thought the maps were really repetitive. I didn't like playing on the same map multiple times like that. It kind of felt like I was doing the same thing over and over, just pressing a different button, I didn't like it.
That was definitely my one complaint. What I will say, though, is that I enjoyed seeing Halo from a different Spartan's eyes.
Yeah.
As part of a different team. And what I found cool is you were able to actually integrate your team. Because you could do it co-op.
Yeah.
And basically what I felt is I felt that it was really good. It got a lot of cool backstory. It introduced Halsey a bit more. And I felt that it had a lot of meat in terms of character development and storyline and stuff like that. However, I will agree. Maps, oh my god, you need to do something new.
Definitely. But I did like how they took the multiplayer maps and put them in there and kind of did I love how you put Ragnarok in there. Complex was cool too. I loved how they took multiplayer maps and implemented them in there.
Yeah, what was definitely cool about that is every map kind of has a description, but this was able to take the description and make it come alive.
Yes.
I mean, for example, having Ragnarok point out that those are, conduits and everything, having, I believe it was... I lost the point. We will continue anyway.
What are you talking about? What map?
I can't remember now. for whatever reason. Vortex, there we go, Vortex, my god. Yeah. They definitely, like, you know, had, like, the whole Forerunner-esque kind of allure about it, the mystery of it. But yeah, I think it was definitely good, and especially when they introduced, like, the multiplayer set list. I thought that was kind of interesting, which, speaking of multiplayer...
Yeah, and then they also rank multiplayer here. They give the same ranking as they do with Spartan Ops, 64 out of 100. I think I would agree with that, maybe a little bit higher. Halo 4 multiplayer, for me, is not the best in the series. I would still probably go with Halo 3 as best overall. I loved Halo 3. I played the shit out of Halo 3, as many other people in the community probably have. Halo 3 was the game. But things with Halo 4, I mean, the maps aren't very good. I mean, they do have some great ones. Haven is great. Ragnarok, even though it is a remake, it's a great map. But other than that, nothing else shines out to me. The DLC is pretty good. This latest
Skyline,
one,
all about the Skyline.
This latest one was pretty good. The one before that, I believe, was Crimson, wasn't very good though. But Majestic.
Crimson actually, according to this, got a rating of 4.4 out of 10.
Yeah.
Which I totally agree with. They bombed. They just blew the whole thing out of the fucking shit pile and into a bigger one.
Yeah, the only map that I really liked out of that one was Harvest.
And even then, it was meh.
Yeah, exactly.
It was meh.
But then you have...
That is M-E-H in all fucking caps.
Yeah, you have Majestic, and I like 2 out of 3 maps. I like Skyline, and I like Landfall. And I can't remember the name of the other one. I don't really like that one, though.
I personally liked all 3 of them. Yeah. But yeah, what I will point out is, personally for me, I felt multiplayer was almost enhanced. They did a couple things that I really, really like. Especially, having custom loadouts for me is great. And having armor abilities for me is great. I'm the kind of person that I love multiplayer that is class-based. Not even full-on, like, very, very rigid class-based, like, you are specifically marksman. But what I do like is that you can not only tailor to your own game style, which has had some of its own problems. We've experienced that here in FC.
Yeah.
What I did like is that you could definitely kind of have a role. My multiplayer experience, for the most part, people are going to hate me here, my main influence was not Halo. My main influence was Team Fortress. I played the shit out of Team Fortress. And I loved it partially because of the class system. You have everybody that can kind of delegate a role, and in this case, for example, you can have wheelman. Those are going to be your people that are helping with vehicle control. You can have, for example, jetpacks. They're going to help, you know, what I find jetpacks really useful for especially is anti-vehicle. Yeah. Especially with the plasma pistol and the ability to start with that. Camo for your snipers, which everybody's going to be like, grr, I hate active camo camping snipers. But what I like to point out is, shut it, people did it anyway, they just had to pick it up on the map. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I mean, Halo 4 definitely did things right. One, sprint is not, you know, it's no longer a loadout thing.
Yes,
it is now default. That took so long.
It should not have taken a franchise this big to realize, oh, people who were supposed to be super soldiers should be able to run.
Yeah, it seems like Bungie was just against this, like, we won't do sprint. And then they did it, but they did it half-assed. They made it like this armor ability thing in Reach, and it was like, what are you doing? Just fully commit.
That had incredibly loud panting.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm sorry, I know that you're wearing that armor, but I mean, if you kind of look into the specs of the way in which Spartans operate, I'm pretty sure they can run for more than 20 seconds without going... sounding like they're both smoking and having to deal with asthma and an inhaler all at the same time.
Yeah, and then once again, loadouts I also do like. They did in Halo Reach, but it was more a half-assed effort. They were all preset. Now you can customize your loadout how you want, which I love. You can customize the way you play. It makes it way more personal.
Yeah, and I think what we'll do is the problems with multiplayer we're going to get to in a bit. Right now, what I'd like to also cover is the Forge rating. Forge is rated 57 out of 100. And to be honest, I agree with him there. Forge is great. The Forge world that we have is good. However, I would definitely say that Reach's was way better. Different landscapes for sure. But my main gripe with Forge, and this will also segue into our next point, is the fact that you don't have enough options, including the way in which you can structure game types. And the big thing that I really hate about Forge, the way that it is that you have to edit everything as a singular piece. What I would love to do is be able to select multiple objects and copy it to something similar to like a clipboard. You know, for those of you who have ever used a computer for once in your life, you'll be familiar with that.
Copy and paste.
Copy and paste. That's like, for example, if I am making a symmetric map, like something similar to Ragnarok, you know, but my own style, or even Dominion, because I need 3 bases there, and I make a base, especially if I put tons of effort in terms of lighting, in terms of cool things like sandbags, and all the little cool fun stuff that really gives it some kind of feel of something better and something greater. If I want to replicate that, I have to do it piece by motherfucking piece. And for, especially when it comes to forging really, really cool things, those of you will know that even with it being easier to do things with magnets, it doesn't totally solve the problem. Because sometimes you need to set something at a perfect non-perpendicular angle, which that's all magnets account for. So, for those of you in the Forge department, definitely write in and tell me what you guys think. You guys probably know more than I do.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, definitely what I felt the problem was that I cannot copy and paste. It bugs me to no end.
You know what Halo needs? It really needs like a level creator, like a full-on level creator where you can create your own levels. I know maybe this generation of consoles can't handle that. Maybe next gen they can.
720, Xbox 720.
Okay, well, okay. That's
No,
a different
no, we'll have that discussion now. For those of you out there, I want it to be called the Xbox 720, and I want them to have
you don't.
Yes, I do. And I want I want them to make a handheld called the 180. Okay, I want them to totally run with this gimmick.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. Why are you so against it, to be honest?
That is such a lame name. It's like the PlayStation to go PS3, PS4. That's so lame. You know, I think they should name it something different, like how Nintendo does. They have the Wii, they have this GameCube, they have the Wii U.
And what's going around right now? The rumor that they're just going to call it Xbox.
Yeah, like Xbox. Or another rumor I heard was Xbox Infinity.
Oh, Infinity. I want it to be the 720 because, to be honest, this is going to be totally gimmicky, and many of you are probably going to hate me for this, but I totally loved the ability to quote that stupid-ass joke that you want to know why it's called the 360? Because it's so bad that you turn a full 360 and walk away. I want to be able to do that again with the 720. You guys may think it's a dead horse. I love it. I think it's funny regardless. And to be honest, I think it'd just be kind of cool to run with the 720 thing for a while.
Do you know what the code name for the Xbox is right now? That
I cannot remember what it was.
It's Durango.
Durango, there we go.
I think that'd be a good name. Durango.
No, I don't think so, because all I can think of is a car. When you search it online, you're going to get a bunch of cars, and then since I saw it recently with you,
Django.
all I'm going to think of is Django. And then I'm going to hear Django, the way that they sung it, and I'm going to have to go home and like play that soundtrack anytime I get on my Xbox. Actually, if they ever customize it, if they name it the Durango, my song, whenever I turn on my Xbox, it'll play the Django themed.
Oh, gosh.
That would be sweet as fuck.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, I think what we'll talk right now, especially with the multiplayer, what we saw the problem isn't so much the way that multiplayer handled. It was the maps and the game types.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. You know, just the maps could have been better. I know I hated Reach because all the maps were taken out of campaign. Like, literally, Sword Base, you went in there in campaign. You played that exact same space in campaign. That was just embarrassing. Bungie didn't want to make a map, obviously. They just took places out of campaign and put them into multiplayer. Like, come on, put some work into it. Now, 343, I'll give them credit. None of the maps are out of the campaign, but they just don't play as well as you would say Halo 2, which in my opinion had the best maps in the series. You know, you had classics like Coagulation. I loved Relic. You had Lockout. You know, you had some great maps there that you loved. When you think Halo, you think those maps. And just 343, I mean, you have Haven, which is memorable. And then you have Ragnarok, which is really a Halo 3 map, so that's kind of cheating. And Exile plays well, just the Goshawk is kind of OP.
I love Exile. I will, agree with you on the Goshawk thing. The other one that I really love since they implemented Dominion, and I think it would work well with, the previous territories as well, that game type. I love Longbow.
Longbow is definitely made for Dominion.
Longbow
that is a
is
Dominion
so
name.
Great for that. Like, I don't know how much I would use it for, like, CTF. Or at least I would structure. I'd probably go one flag, to be honest.
I know I've played Slayer on it, and those other two bases where the Dominion bases are, those go unused in Slayer. Everyone just runs for B.
Yeah, but in terms of just the way in which it plays, especially for the game type it was made, it's great for it.
It really is. It really is.
And speaking of maps, we thought we'd actually do something real interesting here. We thought we'd figure out just how many maps we have, because one of the main complaints we've seen from the community is that we need more maps. We need more maps. Because everybody feels like they go into multiplayer and they keep playing the same 4 maps over and over again. And so I thought I'd crunch some numbers. Turns out Halo 4, including DLCs, including the one to be released soon, will have 22 maps. Mm-hmm. Now, to give you some perspective, Halo Reach, including all DLC, had 19. So already we have more than Reach, but considering that Reach was pulled from campaign, it's not saying much. Mm-hmm. But then, so let's look at one of the greatest games in the series, arguably, and that is Halo 3. Now, believe it or not, Halo 3 only had 23 maps. Only one more than Halo 4 does. And the same goes for Halo 2, an exact 23 maps. Unless you're talking about the Vista version as well. Then it pops up to 26, which that was the computer version of Halo 2. Then if you go even further back, before online multiplayer, Halo Combat Evolved had only 13 maps, 19 for the PC. But considering that it wasn't online multiplayer, that's pretty reasonable. That's quite a bit, actually.
Yes.
And so, what does this all mean? Toast, why are you telling me this? Very simply put, that totals to 100. And you're thinking, okay, it totals to 100. How many maps do we have? 5. Or how many games do we have, rather? 5. What does that mean? 20 for an average. That means already Halo 4 has 2 more than the average map count for the entire series. So the question that I think should be on everybody's mind is, why does it feel like I'm playing the same 4? Why does it only feel like I'm playing Exile, Longbow, Abandon, Haven, and Exile?
Exile.
Yeah, there you go. Unless I said that already. Oh well, bloopers. But what I like to point out is, although we have 2 more, the reason why it feels like we don't have any isn't the amount of maps that we have. It's the way in which game types are done. And I think everybody should realize this. Not every game type is compatible with every map. And for me, at least, that's the major problem.
I know, it really is. You know, when you go into Infinity Slayer, you're playing the same map. You're playing Complex, Haven, Abandon, and sometimes they throw in Solace, you know. And you get tired of it, because not everyone has a DLC. That's another thing you have to consider.
Yeah,
you know,
you have to, usually if you go into matchmaking with randoms, you have to deal with what was just shipped with the game.
Yeah, and that's boring, because once you're playing the same 4 maps. Now, immediately when I see a DLC map, I'll vote for it, because I'm like, yes, something different than the same 4, you know?
And what I'd like to point out further is the fact that not only is not everything compatible, but that it really, really should be. For example, Dominion would be great on Ragnarok. You gotta make a 3rd base. Oh well, suck it up and do it, 343.
Yeah, you know, it's bad because, you know, you have a great game type like Extraction, which they recently made a playlist for, and you can't play it on some of these great maps like Ragnarok, and I'm like, why not? You know, how long does it take to go in and set it up for that map, especially when you're the developer? I know here in FC we have Myth and the whole Forge community that does that. You know, if we can do it, why can't the developer?
And I would definitely say, playing on all the ones that we've come up with, they definitely are good. They are pretty damn good. Quite often I play something that Myth did where he applies a game type, and him and the whole Forge community, I apologize, I didn't mean to marginalize you guys, where they take something that wasn't originally on a map and they apply it to it. And it runs beautifully. It's fun, it's great, it's balanced. And that's something that I definitely look for, and I think everybody looks for, is those 3 criterion.
Yeah, you know, have the game types work on every map, you know, and add some variety to things.
And I think one of the main things that people will point out is, for example, well, if you have 4v4 or other things, like, you know, certain game types like CTF would get a little awkward. And that brings me to my next point. Bring back the ability for one flag and Hill 30 in matchmaking. It doesn't fucking make sense. There are plenty of different playlists that we already have where you have multiple options for multiple game types. For example, even self-contained game types like Griffball have 2 options, Griffball and Griffball Pro. Why not have one flag and one hill options in King of the Hill and Capture the Flag?
Yeah, you know, that's true. I mean, I love what 343 did with Halo 4, but some of the things I don't understand. Like how they took out game types, like Assault, which I loved Assault. I loved 1 bomb, I loved 2 bomb, I loved neutral bomb. Those are so good. 1 flag was really fun. You know, I don't understand why they took these out. It doesn't make any sense to me. Assault was loved by the Halo community. Why'd they take it out, you know? And also, you have games like Juggernaut, which they took out. VIP was fun, which I guess you could sort of say is Regicide now, but it was different.
It's different.
And then you have another fun game type, which everyone loved in Halo 3. It was Rocket Race, and they took that out. It's like, I don't understand some of the decisions they made, you know?
Looking at what Gamer Suggestions actually posted, they also said that the community wanted things such as Headhunter, which that one I never really played too much.
That was on Reach. It was an alright game type. It wasn't a favorite of mine.
Yeah, but I mean, there are definitely ones out there that people want to see again, including in terms of full-on playlists. What people would like to see is, number 1, topping out the list, is Big Team Battle, including objectives.
Yeah, basically just one big team battle playlist where you have both Slayer and objectives. It's weird and it's embarrassing. Why don't you have a big team battle objective? You have a regular objective. Why don't you have a big team battle objective? And I was reading the weekly update by 343, and they said they're working on it. And I'm like, you don't have that at launch? Big team battle is always a favorite as far as Halo 3 matchmaking. That always has consistently either the most or the second most players in it. They love it because it's both Slayer and objective, and there's a lot of people, epic battles. I don't know why you're not including objective game types like Capture the Flag in there. 8v8 Capture the Flag is some of the funnest shit I've ever played. I don't know why that's not included in there.
People also want to see, apparently, Bare Bones Slayer, which essentially would be like Slayer Pro, but no ordnance. It would be no custom loadouts, no ordnance, straight, quote-unquote, MLG.
Yeah.
And essentially what I would point out with that is, I'm not a big fan of it, not too many people are, but it should be a playlist.
Yeah. You know,
hands down.
Yeah, it's just like when when 343 came out with their anniversary playlist, and they had a playlist that basically ran off of Halo 1 rules. You had the pistol that was a 3-shot head kill, you know? Why can't you do something like that where it's like classic Halo, no loadouts, no ordnance, just you start with like a BR or even an assault rifle and go.
Also what people want to see, and I think this would also get interesting, is multi-team implemented for multiple game types. And I think what you would have to do there is people who are newer would be like, how would you do that for certain game types? It's simple. You go back to the one version variant of it.
Yeah, multi-team was another favorite. It was in Halo 3. It was in Halo Reach. You have like a bunch of teams of 3, and it's really fun. It's a lot of chaos going on, a lot of shooting, a lot of explosions. That's what people like. And the fact that that's not in there doesn't make any sense. Doubles too, I'll bring that up. It took them so long to get doubles into Halo 4, and that makes no sense to me, because doubles was another favorite of people. And it's like 343 did some great things here, but it's almost like you're not listening to the fans. Put some things the fans like in there,
Speaking of what they're actually bringing in, is number 4 on the list, according to Gamer Suggestions, is Action Sack, which they then promptly crossed out, because apparently that's coming in the next title update, which should already be out there by the time you guys are listening to this.
Yes. It should be going live on Monday, which is either today or the day after, or whatever, when you're listening to this. But
so hopefully they're definitely going to start listening to suggestion more. And 5, Invasion.
Yeah, Invasion was really the bright spot in the pile of shit that Reach was. You had your elites, you had your Spartans going off of each other, very objective based. That was fun. I know it's hard to put into Halo 4 because you don't really have a storyline for the elites there, but I would have loved to see it implemented in some sort of way.
Actually, what I suggested earlier, and Gunny kind of got on me for this, instead of elites, I'd love to actually see knights.
That's like OP.
And no, here I know that you're saying OP, but it's very, very simple. You tweak shields and damage.
I suppose, but they can teleport, and they have, like, swords for hands.
And then people are going to go, well, for example, their bodies are much bigger, so they're a much bigger target. Well, essentially what you do is, like, headshots are definitely worth more than body shots for that, and they would probably start out with a tiny bit more damage resistance, just to account for that.
Yeah, and if you were to do that, I would definitely have, like, Promethean vehicles. That's a whole other conversation.
That's a whole other thing that I don't think we will see in this game at all. I'd also like to see a couple more Promethean weapons, just because there aren't tons.
Yeah, you have the light rifle, suppressor, bolt shot, and the scatter shot. That's it.
And then you also have
the binary rifle and the incineration cannon.
Incineration cannon, which, oh my god, I love that thing. I love it. It's just explosions everywhere.
The binary rifle is a little OP, though. You can shoot someone in the toe and they'll die. But...
yeah, that one's a little much. But yeah, definitely I'd like to see some knights implemented. And a lot of people are going to go, oh no, that's too difficult. To which my response is, any gaming company out there should take that and run with it. Anything that is difficult, they should try to meet the challenge, because that's how you're going to keep people interested. That's what makes a good game.
Yeah, people want to be challenged, and, it'll give us something to strive for, to get better at it. They'll keep playing the game. Replay value right there.
Yeah. So, to top those out, that is essentially what we saw as the main problems with Halo 4. Overall, it was that game types aren't compatible. They don't have game types in there that should be, some favorites and everything. And essentially, you feel like you're playing the same maps over and over again, mostly because of compatibility.
No, I don't make them think that we're bashing Halo 4. We think Halo 4 is a great game. We play it all the time.
Definitely.
We want some things done differently. We want 343 to listen to the fans a little more. They did, I guess, with Team Throwdown, but that was more the MLG, section of fans. We want the casual fan to be looked at. We want the hardcore fan that doesn't necessarily try hard all the time to be listened to with these kind of suggestions.
Yeah, in terms of things other than necessarily... Well, actually, I guess it is related to multiplayer, more towards mechanics. There was also a couple honorable mentions about what people were talking about in the community. And number 1, it seems to be, is maps, which I feel we've already discussed that, and I'd actually ask everyone in the community to kind of take a look at it. Now, if your complaint is instead the quality of maps, and you want it more like Halo 2, that's a completely legitimate argument. However, I feel that in terms of numbers, we've got quite a bit. The other thing that really stands out is people want the DMR nerfed, to which I am very, very resoundingly going, no! No, 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 no. And it is not even because I am a huge, steadfast DMR user.
Yeah, I don't really understand that one either, because I usually run with the BR like 60% of the time, and I do fine with it. And I go up against DMR guys, and I'll, beat them. And it's not like the weapon is better, it's just whoever's better with it. The DMR is better long range, though, I'll give it that. But, I mean, it still takes some skill to use it. It's not like it's just all, win-all weapon that you'll automatically win with. It's not overpowered.
Definitely. What I'd like to point out to a lot of people out there who feel that the DMR should be nerfed, I'd point out that although it's effective at pretty much every single range, it doesn't have a zoom that encompasses every single range. I mean, it's not like it's the sniper. Yeah. It also still has, so many shots to the head before it has to kill anything. And also what I'd like to point out is the BR, I think, is given too much crap for not being effective at a longer range. I found that the BR can be rather effective, and quite often, if you're good with the BMR, wow. If you're good with the BR, you can beat out a DMR even at a pretty distant range.
Yeah. I know another thing I see on that suggestion there is no optional join in progress. This is a big pet peeve of mine. I think this is one of the worst things in the game. I hate join in progress. I hate joining into a game where I'm down like 200 to 10. I hate that. I just want to start a game fresh, you know? And I would love an option that says, no, I do not want to join in progress. Not take it out entirely, because I understand what's good about it. Like, you're playing, another team, and your teammates quit out, and you want someone to fill in. I understand that. But if someone doesn't want to join in progress, I would suggest that there's an option that says, hey, I don't want to join in progress. Don't throw me in progress games.
Yeah, and I definitely would agree with that. I understand they tried to do it for speed and efficiency reasons, but I feel it was one of those things that fell on its face. However, Gunny, why don't you tell them one of the other main suggestions in terms of multiplayer mechanics?
Yeah, another thing that has to do with that, they want a custom game server browser, which means you can go into like a browser and you can join servers that are dedicated to fun custom games, which I don't see a problem with either. I think that would be great. You're looking for custom games, but you don't have any friends because you're a loner loser, and you go through there, and
which, if you are a loner loser listening to this, if you're a loner loser, you're probably not part of FC. Totally join up. Go ahead and say that I recommended you.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
You go through there and you want to play a custom game. Let's say you want to play Halo. The one where you drive as a flood with the mongooses and you have to make it to the end.
Great fucking game type, by the way.
Or another favorite, which I know Blue Field Marshal Phoenix really likes, is that Predator one where you're invisible and you like hunt the guys.
Ask Raz about me and Predator.
Yeah.
Prrr, tick, 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 tick.
Yeah. But anyway, you would search that, or just, it would give you a list and you would go through and pick a custom game you want to go to. I think it would be great for people who love custom games instead of going into matchmaking.
For those of you familiar, it's kind of similar, I think, in concept to also the way in which Team Fortress does it, where you can choose it and you can see how many people are in the lobby, that kind of stuff. And I think it would just kind of be awesome. Mm-hmm. Not even just for customs, also for multiplayer in general.
Yeah, PC gaming does that right, where you can choose from a list of servers where you want to go to. They don't have like a matchmaking thing where you go and you get matched with people randomly. You go in and you choose a server you want to join. And I think console gaming could learn from that. I think if you go in and you choose what kind of server you want, what kind of playstyle you're going to go into, I think that would be great. I think that would be great for console gaming. It's one thing PC gaming does right.
And one suggestion that people are suggesting that kind of confuses Gunny and I here, and I definitely implore any of you to go ahead and let us know what they mean by this, is visible ranks in-game.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what they mean. I mean, I personally think they mean like a ranked playlist, like what they had in Halo 3 and 2, where you go 1 to 50.
I wouldn't say that, because it specifically says visible and in-game, so that makes me think while the game is going on, which they kind of have that on Killcam, and they actually have a diagram of a bunch of different numbers with a, little backdrop or symbol behind it for denoting rank. And essentially what I kind of see it as is, okay, you want them in-game. Do you want it appearing next to people's names? Do you want it, when you're scrolling through people's names on, when you press select? What do you want here? So if any of you guys know out there or have the same complaint, definitely let me know, because I'm actually really curious about this.
If they are talking about a ranked playlist, I think that would be great. I know they've talked about doing it, and that was what Team Throwdown was supposed to be, but from I hear, I guess, is they're still working on. I think that would be great, because, getting to 130 is not hard at all.
It's not at all.
It's not at all. You play enough Spartan Ops, or you just hit enough challenges, you'll get there. I think 1 to 50, getting to 50, that was more of an accomplishment in Halo 3. If you were 50 in Halo 3, you were like, whoa, that I felt like I really worked for this unless you made a second account, but that's a whole separate conversation.
Yeah. And I think what they might mean here is a ranked playlist, and then have your rank number displayed in game.
Yeah.
Which that I can see definitely making.
Yeah, you go into your service record, and it tells you, your Spartan rating, which, 1 to 130, and then it would tell you, I don't know what you call it, a ranked rating of, 1 to 50, say you're a 46 or something.
Which, little thing I won't enumerate too much on here, I kind of want it to be ranked for every game type separately.
Yeah.
And we had that whole debate, and the only reason is, say, for example, I'm an objective player personally, I'm not a slayer.
Yeah.
And, I'm the kind of person that you even saw firsthand the other day. I will go into a game and I will go negative, but I will have over 5 minutes of ball time or 3 flag caps down.
You will literally throw your body at the objective.
And it wins.
Yeah,
You've seen me play Hill like that,
does.
and it kicks fucking ass.
It does.
And so if you kind of rate everything the same, if you're trying to compare both Slayer and Objective, what you're going to have is, especially if KD is really big, which I think that's what they're also looking at, which I also feel doesn't give assists too much of a thing. I feel that they need something differently ranked for each kind of game type, or an objective rating and a Slayer rating.
Yeah, just like with Halo 3, they had different ranks for different players. You had Lone Wolf, which was more an FFA, then you had Team Objective rating, you had a Slayer rating, you have even a Big Team Battle rating. You had different things like that, and I think that would be really good. Don't just limit to one playlist. Do it for multiple playlists.
Definitely. And actually bringing up the assist thing, and people probably hate me here going, oh no, people who get lots of assists don't have skill. What I like to point out is, for example, if you run out there with an AR and you're, just mowing people down, say I take down 75% of somebody's shield/health. Gunny comes here and gets a headshot. And because we're working together, that happens and I get 20 assists and he gets, 20 kills. My question to you out there is, who is the better player?
It's teamwork.
It's teamwork, exactly. And what I would definitely say is it'll be hard, but I think there should be an algorithm where they definitely give assists a substantial amount. And also, I think that they could figure out, depending on when I brought down their shields and when you killed them, whether or not I was a major factor in you being able to kill them.
That would probably be tough to code, but I do see where you're coming from.
Next-gen consoles. That's my response. The sky's the fucking limit with that right now, and I think it's definitely something that we could see. And like I said, I think it's definitely something that would represent people's rank more accurately is all. I'm just worried about people who are support showing up as bad players, because that's really not true. Assist players and people who are definitely just playing objective and stuff like that are key to pretty much any game.
Yeah, I know, but when you get to a ranking system, they will put the most weight on wins, period.
Well, definitely. And I'm not saying that it shouldn't have the most weight. I'm saying that it shouldn't be the only thing you look at.
Definitely. And then another suggestion they had was the return of the Red X. We all know this one. Anyone who's played Halo, from like Halo 3, Halo Reach, Halo 2. When you died, you had a Red X above your name. In Halo 4, you're going to notice that's not there. I don't understand it. That was like Halo code there. When you were killed, you always say, there's someone on my X, meaning someone killed you there.
I even still do it, even though we don't have it. I'll be like, if I had a power weapon, I'll be like, shotgun on my X. And then I realize, shit, in order to see my X, you have to be in my vicinity and looking at your radar.
Yeah, it's
and
habit.
Trying to find me.
It's habit. It really is, And I just don't get why it's not in there. It's one of those things. It's like, why did you remove that? I don't understand it. I would love to be in those meetings with 343 and hear their reasoning for removing some of these things. I just
Especially.
Don't get it.
And even with good communication, like, for example, if somebody's sniping for me and I know where they're sniping from, I'll probably know, but it's just really, really nice to be able to say it's on my friggin' X.
Yeah, it would be.
Not only that, the fact that the X definitely gives your service tag a reason for being there.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, you kind of have them, and they're cool, and they're fun, and they show up in the list, and, they show up above somebody's name if they're far enough away. But, it was kind of the premiere to see that tag with the X, because that's what was displayed under it, and it just made perfect sense.
Yeah, it just did. It made call-outs a lot easier. You could just say there's someone on my X. Now you have to, almost work for it. You have to call out where you died. I mean, I guess that promotes better teamwork, but really, I don't see the point in removing the X.
So overall, everybody out there, definitely let us know what you think of our review of Halo 4, and especially what the gaming community has said about Halo 4, at least the gaming community, according to Gamer Community.
Gamer suggestions.
Gamer suggestions, there we go. Sorry, I apologize to anybody out there who really, really likes them for messing up on their name. But definitely, I think me and Gunny here are going to call it a day, or a night, or whatever time at which you're listening to this. Hey, I'm going to leave it open to them.
Yeah.
Do not dictate their life.
Okay, Brandon.
Do not dictate them. Speaking of which, final closing thing, he just actually called me Brandon. For those of you who don't know, if you ever hear us refer to each other in here not using our tags, Gunny here, his name is Eli. Toast here, my name is Brandon.
Yes.
Just letting you guys know so you don't get confused and all of a sudden think, is there a third person?
No.
Or if you hear Brandon, automatically go, oh, it must be Anarchy, which, I mean, just saying, I'm the true Brandon.
Yeah, okay.
I am the true Brandon.
Brandon would really disagree with that.
Will the real Brandon please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up.
I would love to have Anarchy on the show and have a battle of the Brandons.
Oh, Anarchy is coming. Don't worry. Anarchy, I've definitely got you in my sights. We might have a battle of the Brandons. Who knows?
That would
but
be
to
great.
everybody out there, stay classy, stay fun, have fun seeing you around FC events, and definitely keep listening and let us know what you think.